Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So, yes, we are going to be continuing as we are moving on from proving triangles are similar to proving that they are congruent. Alright, so let's remember what congruent triangles are. So we have a congruent triangle if two triangles have the three same side lengths and all of their interior angles are also the same. Alright, so it needs both. All three side lengths are equal and the three inscribed angles are congruent to each other. Alright? Does that make sense? So we proved that using the HL theorem yesterday. Alright, so we talked about the hypotenuse and the leg. If they have the same hypotenuse length and leg length, we can prove that the two triangles are congruent. Today we're going to be talking about side-side-side congruency theorem. So the objective today is to see if we're given the three side lengths are the same, like we are in SSS, will the three angles inside of the triangles be the same, so we have congruent triangles. Alright? So given the three side lengths are the same, do we have congruent triangles? And we're going to do that with an activity. So we're going to be passing out to everybody some string and two straws, two pieces of string, two pieces of straws. Everybody, thank you.
Okay.
A little bit of help. Might be 2 minutes.
So are we doing groups or individuals?
Let's do it individually.
Individuals? One
So
drawing?
2 straws to everybody and 2 strings to everybody. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do with this, we're also going to be needing some scissors. We're going to take the straws, we're going to take the first straw and we're going to cut it into 3 parts. They don't need to be equal lengths. What's important though, once we cut the first straw into 3 parts, we cut our second straw into the same 3 lengths. Alright? Now we're going to take the string, run it through both straws, and tie them off at the end and see if we can construct triangles that are not congruent. Alright, so that's a challenge today. Can we find triangles with all 3 sides the same length and yet aren't congruent to each other? Different shapes. Alright?
Could somebody restate what Mr. Fredrickson just said we're going to do?
What do we do with the first straw?
Cut it.
Cutting into 3 pieces.
3 equal pieces?
What's important about the second straw? Well, 3 that are the same length as these 3. Alright? So we want 2 triangles with the same length. Alright, we're going to need to cut it before we straighten it.
So, if you are going to cut a straw into pieces,
You didn't get strings?
how many times are you cutting the straw?
3.
Listen to me. If I have 1 straw and I want to cut it into 3 pieces, physically, how many times with my scissors? 2! Thank you.
I said what I said.
I heard 3 times. If you cut it 3 times, we're getting 4 pieces.
Thank you very much, I
Triangles don't have
appreciate
both sides.
Where are the scissors?
They're over here.
There's your mom. One of them sharp ass. We cut, do we cut both of them?
Grab some scissors here, guys.
Miss. Do we cut both of them to 3 pieces?
Cut both. Which one?
Wait,
Right.
stretch. Do we stretch them out?
Time out.
Yes,
Stop.
stretch out the scratching part.
When you do the one with straws, if you cut it like Mr. Frederick said 2 times, you're going to want your other straw to be cut in the same length. So your job is to create a triangle that's different shapes, different angles. Maybe you can do it. But all the straw pieces have to be identical to the first straw cutting.
No morning class.
Jacko.
At one spot, like,
I took a shower and I didn't feel like doing it. For the fight.
Hey, what happened, bro?
Ryan would have won.
We cut both straws.
Yes, cut both straws. The second straw. The second straw is 3, but it needs to be the same.
So if you stretch it all the way out, cut that into 3 pieces. Yeah, so you have 3.
So that all 3
And so I do yours.
Then the string goes through the
I'm gonna ask.
Jack, can you do me a favor? Get that piece there.
That might be a good idea.
What if they're not?
They don't have to be equal.
Oh, they don't have to be.
Because they can be. You just need to be sure that it is fine.
Got it. Okay, so
Because if it's all
this one
equal,
is 3.
yeah, equal out.
Where's Bill Pickle Tip?
So if you wanted to see this slide again, if you want to copy down something, that's available for you. Alright, good. Perfect, that's exactly right.
Okay, you cut that one.
The 3 colors together. Alright, and we're going to string them together one at a time.
No. They don't have to be equal.
Yep, exactly. Like that, and you keep going, and then scrunch it together and tie it off at the end. Does that make sense? Just the same colored ones, yes. So, and then the other string is going to be the other 3 colors. Yep, there's a second. It's okay. Save your time. Ooh, this is difficult. You got the same color. You got it. Alright, so you just gotta figure out what this is. Those
De
shorts.
verdad, mira, con todos los maestros yo soy es que a poco hacía todo respetuoso y
Alright, so one triangle's here, the other triangle's there. Take one string, one string, put it through the straw, all the way, tie it off. And then we're going to take the second straw. So the first string used to make your first triangle. It can be whatever order.
Ariana did deserve to be beat.
Be sure you color coordinate.
Ariana, he deserved
He didn't lose
Which
though.
triangle which?
I know he deserved.
Why? What happened?
Start with the green one.
He what?
Start stringing it. We'll tie it off at the end. Yes. Once you get all 3 parts, legs.
no sé por qué.
Is it supposed to be a triangle, like, which way? Like, what type of triangle?
It can, whatever just pull it tight on there. Pull it, yes. It just depends on the length, that's the point of it. Good, so that's a triangle. So the goal now that you have one triangle right here, or to take the other one and see if you can arrange those in a way where you'll have a triangle that's not congruent.
How do we do this?
That's the challenge.
Stick it together and tie it together so you have a triangle.
Now let's see what you can do.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Is that it?
So when we're done, guys, yep, we have triangle exhibits here, alright? Tie that off at the end there. So here's a triangle, excellent example right here. Alright, so you just tie it off at the knot. So now, we're going to see if we can make a triangle that's not the same as this one, not the same shape. Does that make sense? Ooh, so
Yeah.
are the shapes going to be different? They will.
I mean, it's triangle.
I don't know. You have a question?
Where's my scissors?
Yep, there's a triangle. Perfect. Now take the other side. If you can. If you can. Let's go.
You did it?
The German said on 7-1.
You're trying to make a different one. So yeah, you can change the order that you put the legs on into the string and tie it up and see if it's going to be a different shape. Yeah, you got. You seem all. So we have one person over here who's convinced that they're congruent. Good job. Yeah, I mean, don't tie off the last one.
Wait, how do you do this, Jacko?
Good looking triangle back there. Good. You got one, two. Alright, so we're going to that second triangle. See if it's different.
Good boy.
You can make it whichever way. Just try to make it different. So explore with it, see if it's going to be any different shape. So congruent or not congruent? Congruent, you think? Alright.
Is there any way to make them
Yeah, you got to tie these nice and.
Definitely nerdy didn't even try to fight about it.
Yeah, kind of strong.
Yeah, try not to bend that. I try to cut that off end for the
Ion.
I
Nice.
was about to say,
But it's okay.
Mario.
Yeah, you don't want to introduce a force.
Check. What happened? Nerdy and Mario had to fight last time.
What time were you calling
When did that suspended? Yesterday.
They did?
I think so, cause
Very good.
Nerdy.
So, congruent or not congruent?
one
What do you think?
relevant kid.
Are these the same?
Marion, you slammed
You
him.
have Yeah, you should probably just use an entirely new straw.
like this?
But that's okay. What do you think? We're pretty congruent, so I think you got the same length just now. So good job. It doesn't have to be right. Any triangle. As long as it's a triangle. Just check it. It's not a triangle?
I got
Oh yeah, you bent this. Don't bend this part. If this part was straight, you'd be fine. But yeah, just make that part so now you have a triangle. There we go. Be careful once you're making the triangle not to bend the bendy part, because then you'll turn it into a four-sided figure, and we're after a triangle with three. So just don't bend this middle scrunchy part.
Yes,
If you do, it's fine. You can bend it back. So I see a lot of people are done. What do we think? Was anybody able to make a triangle, a second triangle that wasn't congruent to the first one?
Yes.
You were.
Oh.
You were? I have a couple no's. Somebody said yes. There you go. Oh, yes, you're
Is it
real.
on?
Oh, I'm not going to question. Sorry.
Oh.
Any different triangles? No? No triangles? Congruent? You say?
Right. Doesn't matter which way it's turned, they seem to be the same, right?
Good job. Yeah, they're still pretty close. But yeah, you just gotta be careful to make sure these are as close as you can get. Yeah, if they are, it's pretty difficult to make a triangle.
What did I take?
Anybody not done yet? Back table, you guys all done? Drop it.
No, that's okay.
You guys all done? Yeah. Oh, one more?
Not bread, the bread.
Two more?
You know who left you?
Well, yeah, these look congruent, yes? Congruent? Congruent or not congruent?
She
Yes.
is fine.
Think it's congruent? Yeah, it's hard. Side lengths are the same. It looks like the angles fall into place, don't they? What do you guys think?
Where is it?
It's right there. No, it's right there.
All right, back up here for another couple minutes. I think we're mostly done here. So, I didn't tell you at the beginning of this that you needed to have specific angle measures. I just tried to make sure that we had the same side lengths of both triangles, right? So, but do the angle measures fall into place once we set up the triangle? Now, it seems like it, right? They all have equal angle measures. They're all the same shape. What do we determine about them? They are congruent. Exactly. All right. So SSS works. What's the whole point of this? Let you see, work with your hands, see that side, side, side. If they're all the same side length, they're going to be congruent, not just similar. Triangle. All right. That's the big idea here. Let's really quick look. What happens if we have a fourth side? You guys are just going to have to look up here because I did these already. So if we have a fourth side, we have a quadrilateral all of a sudden, right? We can have a square. We can have something that's a little weirder shape.
diamond.
The fact that when you hold up your can I see your triangles really quick? When we hold this up, we can't bend this around very much, right? It stays pretty much the same shape. They're kind of locked in place, right?
Yeah, I can.
So we can move this around quite easily. All right, so you think it'd be easy to create two, if all the side lengths were the same, would it be easy to create two different shapes?
Yeah.
All right, so this doesn't work for quadrilaterals. It works for triangles because once you tie them off, they're locked in place. But a quadrilateral with a fourth side, 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 side will not work. All right, so you can have different angle measures, and therefore these two things with the same side lengths will not be congruent. Does that make sense? See that? With these two examples, different looking things. All right, good. So that's the big idea. All right, so we have so our definition for side, side, side congruent. We laid this out already. They're congruent if all three sides in one triangle are the same, are congruent to the corresponding sides in the other. All right? So that's our big idea for this lesson. I think that's the next slide. So we have a worksheet for you. We're going to be working on it.
Mr. Frederickson,
Yes.
maybe we can tell them about the order. I think that would be ideal for this exercise.
Sure.
We have triangle ABC.
So when we have triangles, we need to be sure that the order in which we list the triangles is the same, right? We talked about this with the right triangle stuff. All right, when we're proving things, we got to be sure we label the angle measures correctly and label the triangles in the same order. All right. So when we're talking about side lengths, these two side lengths are the same. These two side lengths are the same. No, those aren't. These two side lengths are the same, and these last two side lengths are the same. All right. So it's important to keep that in mind as we go through and we order these. All right, because we need to be sure that AB, in this case, denoted by this red side here, all right, we're going to color it black. What's that one going to be congruent to in the other triangle? LM, right? This is given away on this paper because we have this one slash through it, right? This slash marks it up with that one. So we have AB is congruent to line segment LM, right? And then how about AC over here? That's where it's green.
LK.
All right, AC, what's that congruent to? We have two slashes.
LK.
LK, right? Because we have two slashes over here. Line segment on this side. Good. Last one, BC. Line segment BC, what's that congruent to?
MK.
What? Which one? MK. Good. Good, good. And again, these three lines through there, the three slash marks, I give it away for you. All right? Excellent. So we have all of these are congruent. So when we're labeling triangle ABC, ABC, in what order do we have to label the other triangle?
LMK.
LMK. We go from the L to the M. and then across the longest side from M to K, and then back over to L. So we start with L and work over to M. So L, M, K. Good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that order is important when we're going to be working on proofs and such things in our worksheet here. All right, so let's get that worksheet out and we will start working on that together.
Kelvin, she wants some kisses.
You guys. What'd you say?
PJ.
You're welcome.
Tanako.
Why are you taking your time? Why are you taking
No, look.
I don't know, my fingers.
How's the back?
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Yes. You can keep that. Fredericks. Mr. Fredericks. Yeah, hold on to those triangles for there.
Okay.
You don't have the same size. Good job. If you did, huh? All right, let's start working on this worksheet.
Sorry.
I'm so mad.
Oh, we need to collect some.
Bring your chair.
I already took one away.
I can't walk. Bring that chair here.
Sorry.
Bring that, huh? I can't walk. This is my pen for the wrong one.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
You see that?
We're answering some worksheet questions.
Oh, I need a pencil.
Out and away.
Hey, DJ, we're left for the day. No, the head.
Where was the answer?
Was that loud? No. All the way over there.
All right, why don't we look at question number 1 here? All right, question number 1 on your worksheet. Up front, up front. Good job, guys. In here. Really quick, one question together. I'll help you out. All right, thank you. All right, question number 1. We have a quadrilateral here made up of 2 triangles, right?
Yes.
What does that tell us about these 2 triangles? We have enough to prove that they're congruent. What was that? Any ideas? So in order for it to be congruent, so far we have 2 ways of figuring that out, right? Hypotenuse leg. Can we use that here?
No,
Why not?
because there's no right hand.
It's not a right triangle, so there's no hypotenuse. Exactly right. Good job. So we have to work with side at this point, right? So basically, what do we need to know about these 2 triangles in order for them to be congruent? All 3 sides have to be the same. Do we know that from this figure?
Yeah.
Yes. Why? D. What do we know about DZ and XY? All right, we have line segment DZ is congruent to line segment XY, right? What tells us that?
That.
And slash marks here are the given to us, right? So that tells us that those are congruent. All right. Are there any other line segments on here that are congruent? How, do we know that though?
Yes.
It's not given. There's not two slash marks here, right? We don't have that.
So no.
How about? I want you to go away.
Split the little line. Click cancel.
Sorry. What do we know about line segment XZ?
They're the same.
They're the same? Right, it's the same exact line segment in both triangles. Therefore, it's got to be congruent, right? And the same way. So these are congruent. So, yeah, line segment XZ is congruent to itself. All right. But what about DX and ZY? We need all three line segments, right, to use SSS?
Yes.
DX and ZY are parallel.
But we're not given that, though. It looks like it, for sure. But can we assume that? It doesn't say that, it says DZ and XY are congruent, but it doesn't say they're parallel to each other. This length and this length could be different, and therefore they would intersect at some point, right? So we can't assume that. So I don't think we have enough to prove the two triangles are congruent. What do you guys think?
No.
Any thoughts? So, if we don't have enough information, why don't we have enough information?
It's not given.
You know, we need the third side, right? We need the third side length. So, since we're not given that dx is congruent to zy, since this is not necessarily true, we can't prove that these two triangles are congruent with what we have. Alright, so does that make sense?
Yeah.
So to explain your answer, you would say that what Mr. Frederickson said, he's got what was given, he's got the reflexive property and finish it, but that's the zx is congruent to itself by the reflexive property. But we can't get that third side, so therefore, no, these cannot be shown as congruent because we don't have three congruent sides.
Reasons. Alright, so our first statement was dz is congruent to xy. Alright, and that's given, right, with the lines to the side links. And we're pretty much also given that xz is congruent to itself, but that's also the reflexive property. So xz is congruent to the line segment, xz reflexive. But our third side doesn't work. Right? So we don't know that dx and zy are congruent, therefore we cannot finish this proof and say that the triangles are congruent to each other. Understand? Reasons why? Answers explained. Alright. Keep working from there. We have another proof after that. Have any questions, let any of us know. I'm happy to help.
And just make sure you start with number 2, start with the stuff that it is giving to you. Pay attention to how many tick marks are on each side of the triangle. So even though it's not telling you something given in words, like Mr. Frederickson said with number 1, those tick marks on those sides are telling you that those sides are
Does anybody still have scissors? Grab those. Grab the whole thing. Okay. We got 4 problems on this worksheet front and back. Yes. Alright, let's go on to you think you did it wrong. You think you did it wrong. I wonder if we did it time. We have a question. 1 or 2? 2. Alright. So what are you giving?
You hear that again?
Ouch.
Boy. RMS gym teacher.
Mr. Willie? That's how you rate him.
This is the LM.
Yeah.
This congruent to Y.
Go for it.
What?
You know, Amos
Nope,
does
just pair them up. It should be two endpoints at each one. Okay, ready? Good. And that's given.
YZ.
What about
Same as LM, no it's not.
it's not wrong? Keep going.
YZ has 2 marks. What other side is
Y.
Okay, you put YZ.
No, reason. They basically told you.
Just do the same. Straight up.
Then what about the third one?
No.
Well, you need all.
Yes, you understand?
No. There.
Okay, you can do it then.
Oh my gosh.
Good job, you guys.
Now, can I say that just trying to
Yes.
remember?
Precious!
I hurt my ankle today. Downstairs. I'm serious.
We're talking about
I don't do it. Bring your big guys. Precious!
Yes.
How do you know? Yes, you do.
Let's go see if I'm gonna see.
Come on, what do you say? Bring your chair.
I can't put my chair on the
Nigga,
So,
put your chair on your head.
I'd rather die.
Like in Africa.
I never did that. I'm hoping to shut up.
because
This chair right there.
I can't sit there. Every time when I think of it, it's going to move.
I was showing
You hate me so bad. No, I'm not going to.
I sit over there yesterday.
Okay, stop there. I'm like one.
Make sure you write it up.
Now you see.
Never mind.
Yes.
Yep,
they are congruent. Why is that? You broke it already? This one has 1 line. These 2 have 2 lines.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm going to.
You do all the segments that are the same.
Yep.
because you showed 1, 2,
Congruent too.
And what about the third one?
given.
Yes, because it has the
Well,
same.
you're still talking about this side.
No.
So you
X,
have
Y,
Y
has one mark? What other side has one mark? Right, the ones that have one mark.
Start
Right,
first.
the one here. And then remember to put.
Also
if
by
you want to throw away
all you
that.
need is
What side? Right, get them.
You could hang it on your Christmas
Right.
That's half her.
And put E in here. And then you match the two. And then you match.
You don't want to hang them on your Christmas tree?
Right, this
So yeah,
side, these sides are the same.
You can remember geometry
Sides are the
class.
same.
Anybody got garbage?
And these sides are the same.
You can hang them on your Christmas tree, guys.
And then
I don't have it. Okay, let's get her focusing.
And we still do this?
You can keep them for your Christmas tree if you want.
BJ.
You can just put it on a branch. Do you want to keep yours or you want to keep these as a memento?
Yeah.
Anybody want it?
BJ. Move.
They gave it to you to show you. Right there. That's what you have to work with that.
Keep up. Works right. A, B, C, group A. I gotta let
I'm gonna be sick. Somebody does.
I had that shit.
Shoot back.
Okay, keep candy into right there. Hi, Allie.
I need help.
Please.
Well, I'm at home.
I think it's going to be white, right? And
So, what did this is the one second.
match with. What does YX match
Yep. So, if you have
Right, because they both have one mark. So, and the reason is it's given. And you just do that with every side. They all have tick marks, right? Just match, make sure they match. The ones that have the same number of tick marks.
the order does match. He can, yeah.
You're lying.
No.
You're lying.
Triangle.
Earrings, glasses.
No.
Oh, yeah, the last thing. I forgot about that. Where's mine?
I would switch it up so you're not using that same twice. The other line going
Yeah.
So right.
and you have a C right Yeah, give it to Oh, and then we might.
Forgot that one.
Oh, we're gonna come around. Yes. Ooh, that's really. Alright, so A, B, and C are the woods. Alright, that's good. So 2.
Get money to
Yep. Why? Yep. What's that called?
No one.
And then you can use
Like you don't know shit. That's why
You done already?
If you don't know shit, you do a gym
You good? Any question? You said? Alright, good. How's it going over here?
Number 3.
Stop lying, bro.
You need another pencil? There's pencils back here.
There's no more.
There's no more pencils? Gotcha. And pens don't work?
They finally refilled them.
Can I get a pen?
Pen? You have a pencil.
That's it.
No, there's not pencils. Oh, you left out all your pen. Is that going to work? Somebody's using a pen here. Just use a pen.
Is this covered?
Let me see. BA.
I know it's almost Christmas.
Good.
You know what I'm mostly excited about? That we won't have school.
You don't want to see me every day?
I won't have to see anybody any day.
That's one. You got it.
Wait, how long are we out for? 2? I thought it was 3.
We come back January 7th.
1 second. Yes. Not right. I mean, it is, but that doesn't prove anything about these two separate codes. Because that decides like the whole thing. We want to talk about A, B, and C. If D is the midpoint of this whole thing, that means this is exactly
Let me see what you got.
right. Well, that means what about say that again.
She's giving you all the.
You're gonna want to
You want some?
You know how we have A, B, and C?
She wants some.
We're gonna want A, B, and C.
But shut up, bro. She wants some, bro.
I don't want some. I already have it.
Definition of
He said, I love you. Yo, Tommy.
wait, exactly halfway.
BJ,
I got everything.
no! Why'd you bring it? Yeah, you go back to the recording.
Yeah, for real.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it is.
1 second, guys, really quick before y'all leave. I just want to review really quick. Alright, so side. What does it tell us?
I love my mom.
Exactly. So if we are just given 3 side lengths are the same between 2 triangles, the triangles are congruent because the angle measure falls into place. Alright? Have a great day, guys.
You too.
Good job.
Glasses.